Hey, it's the Brian Kindra Show. Welcome. We are going to give you some valuable tips, practical ideas.
I think it's going to be some practical tips and valuable insights.
I love just saying it.
But whenever you say it, I'm like, I don't even know what you're saying.
Yes.
Like, I forget that that's actually the words we're supposed to use.
Yeah. And so today, this whole big buyer broker thing is still out and roaming around. And
it begins in 2 days.
It begins in 2 days. So
Today's
nonetheless.
15th?
Yeah. So we're already ramping up. We've had meetings and we're having more meetings and we're having more education and we're going to training in a couple of weeks in Dallas and it's all they're going to talk about. So you think you guys are worn out about it? Yeah. It's all we hear about. So again, but I think it's all about our whole focus here is relationship-driven real estate.
Yep.
And we want to make sure our customers are taken care of, our people are taken care of, buyers are taken care of. I really think this is the next step where the buyers, like they're already involved in their transaction, but like we do it so many times. Like, I want a house. Here's your house. Sign here. Done. I think this is more, I think it helps prepare the buyer more. It forces us to stop and slow down and meet them and be like, all right, now let's stop. Okay, what is step one? Well, we need to, look at your budget. We need to see what you're qualified for. We need to see what you can afford. See if you're a cash buyer borrowing money. Do we need to sell a house? Why is this? What do you want to do? And I think it helps us. Like, now we can sit down and go through a checklist of like, do you want a swing set? Do you want a swimming pool? Do you need 4 bedrooms? You know what I mean? Do you need somewhere for your mother-in-law to stay, like a hotel nearby? No. And so
that's funny because I immediately thought, do you need 1 bedroom so nobody comes to visit?
No, I was thinking, how close is the nearest hotel? No. And so, so all those things help us sit down and figure out, like, I feel like we do a good job already in conversation with our buyers, looking for what they're wanting.
Right.
But I think it helps. I think we're really good at that. I think it helps all the other agents and the public now as well get more equal.
Well, and I think for a buyer's standpoint, like, even though we're very good at what we do, I do think that it helps us to slow down long enough for them to catch up and go, oh, this is what you're going to do. And I think that it helps for the buyers that might be a little bit anxious up front or a little nervous or not really sure what they're getting into to immediately feel like, oh, okay, well, this is cool. I know what I'm getting into now. And I think that's super important.
Yep.
I think a lot of times some buyers are, this, some of the buyers are so hesitant to tell you anything at first because they're so afraid of what you're going to do and how you're going to run with that information. And this kind of helps us to show them, hey, we want to take this down a notch. We want to help you out. We want to make sure we find the right thing and that we can be consistent with you. And this will help us to do that. And so I think I'm kind of excited about that part.
Yes.
Yeah. So today we're going to go back to elementary school. We're going to read you a book. Aww.
That's great. So we have our custom printed book. If Nathan would flip that thing around for me so I can see it.
Oh, there it is.
Okay, here it is. Here's our broker strategy guide. Now we've developed this book.
This is going to be good reading.
It's going to be great reading. You should all have one. So call us and
You should all be our buyers.
So this book here, we created it because it's one that helps all of our agents be consistent. So I've read lots of business books and they're all about make it repeatable. Mm-hmm. So we've created this book. This is a conversational book. It's not like, hey, I want to go read that. It's conversational. It's going to walk you through the things that happen and the things we do and the processes that takes place in our value proposition. So there it is, Buyer Strategy Guide. Okay. I hope you're reading.
Do I need to describe these as you go for the people that are on the radio?
So radio people.
The first
page says welcome. Can you read that? Welcome. We are advanced. No, just kidding. I can't really read that.
Don't read all of that.
And so it kind of gives you a picture of who we all are. And
kind of our mission.
And our mission. And so we haven't even talked about this. We've got 8 agents and Nathan, who is not a real estate agent.
I mean, bless his heart. If he ever thought about being one, you might have. You are not a realtor. So that wasn't nice of you.
It's not an ego thing, but it's no. He can't stoop to our level. down here. You know?
He's got his sights set on higher priorities.
So our agents right now, we have Shane DeLong, who has just started and is doing a killer job already. It's amazing watching people step into that point and take care of their customers quick, and
especially as well as he has.
He is great.
Man, I'm proud of him.
And then Richard Harris, who, again, is one of those.
Very many people don't know him. I know that he's kind of quiet and his name isn't well known.
No,
but really, you should try to get to know him.
Get the real Richard Harris.
Well, maybe
Isn't there one like a song that says, "This is the real Harris"? Oh, it's Slim Shady. That's what that was. Sorry. Sorry, I knew a song, Nathan. Okay. So Richard Harris does a great job as well. Cassie Dominguez, she actually is bilingual, which helps a lot. The Hispanic community. She can step in anytime and help any of us at any time.
Yeah.
And then me and Kindra, and then Kyra Bentley, who is from Buffalo. She's looking to move this direction because she's getting so busy, but she covers all of Harper County, Beaver County, Woodward County. She does. I mean, she was not afraid to go to Ellis County. We looked at stuff, Seedling. She wasn't afraid to go down there. Young, ambitious, ready to rock and roll.
Yes.
She's born and raised ranch. So horses, cattle, all that fun stuff.
She can do land. She can do everything.
Yep. And so she can do that all. And then we've got Miss Julia Derrick, who has been in real estate almost 20 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so she is fantastic paperwork person. She does a great job keeping everybody up to date, contacts. Never afraid to just go. Sometimes we're like, Julia, did you seriously go show that house at 9 o'clock in the middle of the night, south of Gage? What? So we have to keep her. That's her. We got to keep her on task. And then Miss Kathy Brown, who's been around a couple of years. She is, again, so much knowledge. So that is us. It gives us, the first page, that's what it's about. Real estate driven real estate, and gives a picture of who we are so you put a face with a name. Is this how you saw this going?
I mean, it's going to have to go this way. I don't know the book as well as you. Thank you.
So,
we help make sense of the home buying process. That's what that page says.
Yes, if you can read that. Whoop. No, again, because I think it comes back to the home buying process can be confusing. Obviously, it goes back to if it was easy, we wouldn't have a job.
Right.
And there's a lot of hoops. Now, every now and then they are easy. In fact, we have several customers that have told us.
We had a closing, so by the time this airs, it'll be last week, but we had two closings yesterday, and one of them, I guess they were a buyer and the seller because they closed two transactions at once. And they said over and over again, we have never been through a real estate transaction that was this easy. They have sold that I can think of 1, 2, 3 houses, 2 houses, bought 3 or 4. This is not their first rodeo. And they were like, oh my gosh, this has never been so smooth.
Yep.
I'd love to hear that. The other one, we had some challenges, and still the seller was like, man, you really killed this. You made this so easy for me. And that's what we want.
Yep.
We want to make sense of that. And I know I'm saying sellers, but I promise you if it was a buyer, it could have gone the same way. Yep. So we want to make sense of the home buying process. We want to simplify it. We want to help you through it. I'd say we want to hold your hand, but just walk beside you.
Yes. Yeah. And 2 of our sellers this year have said, you never realize what your agent's worth until you get a bad one.
Man.
Or a bad
transaction. Some of my dearest friends have moved, and as they were purchasing their next home, he said, he texted you or something and said, we didn't realize how amazing it was to always work with you until now that we can't.
Right.
And so that's what we want. We do not want you to go through those situations that my friend just is still going through. That is still not done.
Oh, geez.
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
Well, they need us over there. Okay.
We're going to have to move.
Then a couple of quick common questions. Again, that's part of this deal. It's a conversational piece. So this is where we're going to stop and go through any of the questions you have. If you have questions about the buying process, the mortgage process, the budget process, the repair process, the fixed price inspection, all the processes.
Let's just go ahead and hit the big one.
We're going to start hitting the questions.
Because they're immediately going to say, okay, well, why do I even need you?
Yes.
Right? So if that's what you immediately, buyer, are thinking, why in the world do I even need an agent? So many reasons. There's really not even enough time to go through all of it. But here's where we answer you. A buyer's agent is going to help with negotiations. We're going to help with resources, and we're going to support you. We're going to be kind of a mediator between you and the other side, because we want everyone to be so happy when you run into each other at Walmart.
Yep.
Like that's what we want. We're your problem solvers, your advisors, your local experts. I love that part because I'm saying this. I know I'm going to say this again next week too, and I don't even care. But that's what we do. I mean, we've got buyers from a couple years ago. We got buyers from last week saying, okay, who do you use for a mechanic? Who do you use for an HVAC? Who do you use for this? That's what we want. We want to be your local expert. Your transaction manager, that's me. Your educator, that's both of us. Your coordinator, that's probably both of us.
Yep.
Yeah.
So and that's the big deal. So there's so much things that a buyer agent does in the transaction.
Okay, this is my favorite page.
This is the fun page right here.
This is my favorite page.
So the people on the radio can see this.
Yes, I wish the people on the radio really could. So you guys, if you are on the radio, we're just going to tell you to head out to Facebook after the show is over. Listen, because we want you to be on there. 107.3.
13 minutes in.
Yeah. So, okay. So here we are, advanced access. This is what we do. So here's you, and you are looking for a house. So the homes for sale, active inventory are what you can see. That's the only thing that you can see.
You jump on Zillow, homes.com, our website, all the websites. These are what show up.
Okay, so right now we have such a limited inventory. This might actually even feel worse than it will maybe in a year or whatever when our inventory is somewhat normal again.
Normal again.
Okay, but whenever you use a realtor, you also have
these conditionally for sale passive inventory. So these are houses that, for example, for sale by owners that don't market on those websites, potential auction sites, things that are for sale but not marketed with an agent. So, which are a few more, but not a bunch more.
But then, this is my favorite part. And this is the part, I'll be honest, like, I think this even goes back to the right agents, because when I started, I did not have this part even. Like, I learned a little bit more about this as I went on, but I didn't see the full picture of this next page until I worked with Brian. Like, Brian is the king at locked inventory and getting it unlocked. So what you as a buyer are not able to see are the homes that really could be for sale if the right situation happened.
Right.
And we as experienced agents, we know how to help make that happen to get you into the locked inventory. And I don't mean like breaking into houses. Yeah. As I'm saying this, I'm thinking about some other phrases in my mind. We've probably been in your house.
Yeah. So
not like
with your permission. With your permission.
But here's the coolest thing. So when I started working with you or for you, today I think I work with you, but I really work for you. Whenever I started working with you, I was so, like, I walked into your office and I'm like, what is this board? You have like the craziest board. It's all different colors and it's kind of hodgepodge and it's like literally a dry erase board. And it's all these people that have said, hey, if this happened, I would sell. Hey, if you got a buyer for this, I would potentially do this. Hey, if you've got somebody that would trade me houses, I really would like to downsize, or I'm ready to upsize, but I've got this super cute house and I don't want to move until I'm really ready. But if you've got the right thing, give me a shout. You as a buyer without representation do not have that same capability because you are not in it every day. And so this is where we come in. Like, and this is the part, like, we get so excited about this. Like my first transaction with that was the 3. You sold the one, they had the house out that we just sold. Okay. With some acreage. And then there was another, and then golly, I don't know how you say it. It was like this triangle. So you had like buyer moving in, and we knew the perfect house for them was in in South Fork neighborhood. Mm-hmm. And we knew that this guy would sell if he could just get the right thing. But he actually had 2 properties that he really needed to sell to get the right thing. So we called the 3rd guy and we're like, hey, we know somebody that wants to buy your house. And he's like, well, I've been kind of knocking that around. And he's like, well, I could see doing a trade. So we sold 4 houses, changed hands to make this one thing work. And it was the funnest. Like today, that might be one of my favorite transactions. It was really fun. It was so rewarding. It was so exciting. If those buyers had not contacted you, they would not be in that home
Were any
today.
of those houses on the market?
No.
Right.
It was so cool.
Right.
But it goes back to if they hadn't called you, none of that would have happened because other people would not have known that any of that was a potential.
Yep.
So that's where I think particularly this office stands out, but that's the value of an agent.
Right. Because we're paying attention to, some of this sounds negative and bad, but we're paying attention to the legals in the newspaper. because there's a lot of things. All
we
of
are
the
not
D's.
calling off of the obituaries, though. We do not do that.
But obviously, we're available if they need us, because we want to set that family through the transaction as well. But we're not going to go hang out in the hearse.
I've heard about people that do that, so I had to say it. Like, we are not going to any funerals.
Right. But death, divorce, degrees that people get to graduate in high school, we kind of start watching that. In the senior year, we start plugging in and making sure that those people are moving. We have access to those people who are buying a home now.
But they're not selling their current one.
They have not said they're selling their current home yet. So we've got all those potential sellers. So there's a lot of people out there that are, I bet there's 50 people on my board.
Oh, I'm sure.
Today.
Yes.
That would sell if the right situation came available. So this is my favorite part of the game.
Definitely. All right, next up, a buyer journey. So this is the part where I said we're going to hold your hand. And I have a lot of times.
This is the shortcut, but yeah.
This is the shortcut, which actually
sometimes
still
there's some loops, spins, hurdles.
Well, but here's the thing. Like, a lot of times a buyer will say, I have no idea what I'm doing. I have no idea what I'm doing. I say, well, we're going to take it one step at a time, but we're going to get there.
Yep.
And I said that to a seller that we closed a couple of weeks ago. She said, man, this is crazy. And I said, I know, but one step at a time. And she goes, yeah, I remember. And I thought, oh my gosh, how funny. It was a repeat customer. And they knew one step at a time, we can get this done. So we're going to begin with a plan. So this is where we love having the buyer broker agreement. When we sign that document, we can have that conversation now. So, okay, what are we looking for? What do you want? Now you know, like, I'm really going to assist you in this. I'm not just going to show you this house and then drop you. I'm going to work with you until you find the home you're looking for. So we can plan, figure out what you want. Then we can get you some help. If you need to borrow money, we've got some ideas of some great lenders that we could help you to get connected with so that you could get pre-qualified. Maybe you're cash, then we might just kind of talk to you about what that really looks like. You cannot bring a briefcase to closing. So we might help you with some of those things. And then, Brian, we get to start shopping.
That's right.
I know you would think it'd be me, but no, I'm not the shopper here.
Yep. And it's one of those deals. The shopping is a very important part. I get to feel what you're looking for as we, when you walk in a house, you're like, man, I hate brown. Okay, well, we're talking about paint or carpet or something change here. But yeah, we start talking about the loves and hates of the houses.
So then you're going to be choosing. And again, this is where Brian is. So you're looking at who knows how many homes, as many as you need to. Mm-hmm. Don't apologize because you don't settle. That's okay. Yep. We're totally cool with that. If we need to show you houses for 3 or 4 years, we might have to redo our buyer broker agreement every 6 months or whatever. I'm not putting a limit on it. I know we can't go over a year on those agreements. But we'll just keep going. We don't mind. We're happy to do that. We're excited to do that. So once you choose, then you're going to make a written offer. You're probably going to have that discussion with Brian. This is kind of what I'm thinking. You guys are going to talk back and forth. And then somebody is going to give me all the information and tell me, hey, this is what we want to offer. And then I get started on your paperwork. So I'm going to type that offer. You're going to sign it because we want to make sure that if that is signed, that you know exactly what you're getting into and that you're really, truly ready. The offer is typed on the contract documents. Then we negotiate. Back to Brian again. So this
kind of like this part.
Yeah, it's your favorite. This is one of your huge skill sets. Mm-hmm. You do a really great job of explaining, no, this, and this, no, this, and this. And so you agents will often talk about, make sure you understand the offers. The other agent or us, if we actually are working both sides, are going to make that, get that submitted to the seller, see what we need to do to either get a counter or whatever. So eventually, we're going to come to an agreement. We're going to have a fully bona fide contract. And this is where I step in. So I'm going to be scheduling, and helping get all your paperwork done and make sure everything is where it needs to be. And then the inspections. And this is, again, one of my favorite things that you do. We get this inspection set up. The inspector does his job. You try to meet, if at all possible. We say, don't go while they're inspecting, because these inspectors, they've got a plan.
Yep.
Tell about it.
Yeah, it's crazy. So your inspectors will have a system where they make sure they've got everything checked and they don't miss anything. So just for example, one time I went in while the inspector was there and the fan on the microwave was on and I shut it off and he immediately stopped what he's doing. He looked at me, he goes, can you turn that back on? And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm just used to shutting things off. He goes, I have that on so I don't forget to shut the oven off. So he has his system just to make sure he checks everything, turns them on, turns them off, that if you get there, you could distract him, and then he might miss a huge defect or something about the house.
But if you'll let me schedule it in the right way, we can schedule for you to meet Brian and the inspector right at the end of the inspection. And I've noticed this with our inspectors. It's so great. Like they have like their little short list and they'll take you back. These are the important things that I found and I want to make sure that you see them. These will be in your report, but just to give you a heads up. And then you can kind of already have that in your mind and be discussing with Brian, how serious is that? Whenever I get the report, how much, is this really a concern or is it just kind of minimal? And you can help walk through that. Repairs, Brian will help you to kind of discuss if you should be doing a TRR, what you should ask for on your repair request, all those different things. At the same time, the appraisal and the title work and all those different things have been ordered too. And so a lot of this just happens simultaneously. You just may not be seeing it happen.
Yep.
And then hopefully we have our loan approval and boom, we are going to closing, buying a house and you are moving in.
Yep.
All right. Will you explain the contract process, please, sir?
Okay. So there are multiple contracts. Get that to flip over. Involved in a real estate transaction. So good grief, I'm struggling. Okay.
Man, you're acting like me.
So you have your listing agreement, which is with the seller and the real estate agent. They list the property for sale and start marketing it. Then you have the buyers have a buyer agreement. They sign that stating kind of what they're expecting from their buyer's agent to go help them find a property. And then at the end, we have a purchase agreement, which is between the buyer and the seller. And so all three of those contracts surround the property.
All right. So why would you want to use our team? Why would you want to use any of the agents in our office? Why would you want to use our office? Why would you want to use me and Brian? And so we like to say that the proof is in the pins.
Proof is in the pins. It's a really cool map we made. I took all of the houses we've sold in the last, since 2020.
It's just a fun graphic.
It is.
So, like you've got to see this. We need to just be posting this because it's just fun.
So,
but
and we put it in Google, printed all the pins out, and it just covers up Woodward, except for the field station because they won't let me sell that yet. But I'm working on it. It shows you that we have covered a ton of town.
Like to the tune of like 47% from July 2020 to July of 2024.
Yes.
We've sold that much percent of the MLS volume for this area.
Yep. And it really shows because I mean, we have, and you see the graph on the right side that shows that our team of people in our office, we don't mess around.
No.
We sell a majority of the property in town.
We do, and we love it. All right, next is the reviews are in. We know, I know that whenever I go somewhere else, when Jack and I travel, on the way, he'll be like, okay, we're going to eat at this town. Where are we going to eat? And so I start with Google or with Yelp or whatever I'm looking at for that minute. And I immediately go to the reviews. And I'm like, okay, well, this says they have great food, but the service is really slow. What kind of time do we have? We've got plenty of time. Not a big deal. Or this says it's all terrible. And so we just don't go there and try them again. But we really rely heavily on those for just about everything that we do. So we know that you are too. So all of our office has been working on this as individual agents. So we have a ton of different Googles on Google, on Zillow, on even on our Facebook. Not as many on Facebook, but particularly on Zillow and on Google. And so we encourage you, please go look at those. And if there's some that you're like, tell me about this one, we'd be happy to share as much as we can about any of those reviews to kind of help to explain why things are like they are. My favorite review to date said they should wear capes.
That's great.
And I love it so much. I'm like, no cape, whatever from The Incredibles. I'm like, no cape. But yes, we love what we do, and we do want to be a real estate hero. Like, that's what we want. We really do. And second best, I hope Jared puts this into his, and I hope this guy puts it into his review. He said, that was so great. It's too bad you're only in real estate. I could really use you to solve all my other problems. Bring it on, baby. Bring it on.
Bring it on.
All right, next up.
So this is version 1, so this is already changed. But here is the pie chart on the right that shows the red is our current customer base, sphere of influence, repeat customers, and referrals. So when I wake up on January 1 every year and I think, how am I going to budget this year? I already know 76% of the people we're going to deal with.
Right.
We already know you. You already know us. So this is the meat and bread and butter of our portfolio of customers. The other are things like referral leads from Veterans United or Zillow or any of those platform sites that just people get on there who don't know us and are searching for something, and they just randomly pick something and they end up at our door or a sign in the yard.
People calling off signs this year.
It has been a ton.
For years, we didn't have anybody that ever called off of a yard sign, which is so crazy sounding, but it's true. And this year, we've had more calls off of yard signs.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so be watching. We got new yard signs coming.
All right, next up, your home is one of the largest assets in your life, and you deserve to be represented by a knowledgeable, dedicated agent who has your best interest in mind. So we really, really would like to earn your business.
Yep. Because we love what we do. So, and then it's all about more questions. So we kind of stop there and start talking about what you're expecting, what you're seeing. We believe this is a big deal for you. It's a big deal for your family or your everybody. It's a big deal. We want to make sure that you are covered and taken care of. Again, it's a forever deal.
Yep.
We're young. I mean,
we're about to enroll in there's this awesome video about whenever you get into your 50s that you need to be taking all these courses like bird watching and how to take your keys away from your aging parents. I mean, we're almost there, but we still feel pretty young. Yeah.
And then we have Kathy, who has been in real estate longer than we've been alive.
Man.
And so we have lots of time left.
It's awesome. We are thrilled.
Yeah.
And we do. We really want to help to be a part of your transactions. We want to be a part of your real estate process. And we know that you probably have a ton of questions. And we just encourage you, send them.
We have a really cool coffee machine at our office. So just call us. We'll come sit down. We'll make you a cup of coffee. We'll hash it out, give you some, practical tips and valuable insight on real estate in Woodward, America, or anywhere. We don't mind talking about it anywhere.
I think the important thing is we're not afraid of this buyer broker agreement.
Not at all.
Whenever it started coming out, I thought, it's going to be more work, but we've never been afraid of it. And I think that's a big deal. I think that is, I think a lot of people have been afraid of it.
Yeah.
And we're ready because we know that it's just one more step to help you a little bit better. Mm-hmm. So let's do it.
I love it all. And so this will be, we'll be shooting stuff out on Facebook, tidbits when we learn more. They're still changing things. So
yes.
Once it kind of gets finalized, we'll start sharing the contracts that you'll be needing to sign. And there'll be lots of options inside of that. I actually have a meeting today to kind of go through, make sure our agents are tip-top ready to make sure they have not got you into an agreement you don't want to be in. And also reverse, they don't want to get into agreements they don't want to be in because, again, we're about relationships. We want to make sure we're taking care of your people.
Definitely.
So this is the Brian and Kindra Show. Brian and Kindra Show. Thanks for listening.
You tried to steal the show.
I did. And so it's the Brian and Brian Show. Thanks for listening. 580-334-2303.
And I'm Kindra Brown, 580-216-0090. See you next time.